This is my first time ever doing Preptober ever in my life. I've never done it before. I'm very inspired by her content and I want to make content as enticing as hers. Good morning, diamonds of the earth. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some Preptober work. This is my first time ever doing Preptober ever in my life. I've never done it before and I wanted to try something new this year. I know November's coming up, Nanowrimo specifically. This is my first year working on a story for that specific event or that specific challenge. I decided randomly that I really wanted to try to do it. I have a book that I've been wanting to write for a while. Not something to publish, but it's something to say, oh yeah, I have a story that I've written. That's there. I kind of wanted to see how this was going to go, really and truly. So today we're going to be doing some prep work for it. I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to make some tea, and then after that we're going to go into the room and we're going to get started. And then I guess I'll give you guys some sort of a breakdown as to what's going on. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the you guys can see this. So now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna do a mini breakdown as to what my plans are. I'm really following an outline, so it should be pretty self-explanatory for the outline because I'm following an outline. But basically the outline breakup is we start off with a basic description of what the story is about, a basic synopsis. Then it goes down to describing our character. Not really going into depths about who the character is, but it's more so going into depths of what the character is going to be struggling with. And then if they have fears, how are their fears affecting their end goal, or how are her fears affecting the goals that they have, or the things that make them happy, or whatever it is. So that's the second phase. The third phase, I'm pretty sure that's like the last one. The third phase is the 3-act structure of the story, not play. The 3-act structure of the story. So it begins with just starting off the beginning. What's the character going through? What's going on? Then after, in the middle section, it's probably going to be talking about, I haven't gotten that far, so I'm assuming the middle section is going to be where the climax is and all that stuff and how you're going to lead into that. And then the third act structure is you getting over that hill of the climax and then going back down for the resolution. That's probably how it's going to go. I'm not sure. I have to look at it again, like look at it thoroughly and see. But from what I've seen for like the first 3 aspects of it, that's pretty much what it was. Get on a long enough tangent, we're going to start writing, and we're going to get some ideas down. So before we get started, I was looking up to see who I was speaking of, the outline I was following. Her name is Abby Emmons on YouTube. I'm going to include her link in the description so you guys can check her out. She's a great YouTuber. Also, the other one I was speaking on, Christy Ann Jones is her name. That's the second one. So the first YouTuber I was speaking on, when whose outline I'm following, her name is Abby Emmons. I'm gonna again include her link in the description so you guys can check her out. And then the second one, whose cinematography I absolutely adore, and I'm very inspired by her content, and I want to make content as enticing as hers. Her name is Christy Ann Jones. I'm gonna have her link in the description as well. I've watched her for a while. She just finished Project Teacup, so now she is querying that story. And as well, she has another story out as well about her time in Japan, I believe. I think that's what it was. But anyway, I'll link her link in the description below, and you guys will be able to check her out for yourself. Okay, guys. So far, what I have done, I'm listening to stuff. That's besides the point. It's fine. Um, Basically, what I have done so far is I have written down the basic idea of what the play, or not play, I need to change my wording, of what the story is about. Um, I've done phase two, which is meeting the protagonist. So this one, we get to see what their desires are, what their fears are, and basically how those are affecting what they want. And then also there's one more. Oh, and their misbelief of the society that they're in or the situation that they're in right now. So now I have gotten to the phase three aspect. I got the hook done. Obviously, I'm going to go back and I'm going to revisit this over the course of this month, since we have like 2 weeks really left. The 3 days don't really count because by that time something should be there relatively, so we shouldn't really need to write anymore. That's my head, that's my mind space. So I have the hook done. I'm gonna fix it though. I have the setup done for this. Now I need to focus on the inciting incident, the build up, the first plot point, and the pinch point. The inciting incident, basically, it's what throws the protagonists outside of their comfort zone. What's going on? What makes them uncomfortable? What makes them uncomfortable, and then makes us uncomfortable as the reader that's reading the story. So, just came up with something. So I have an idea for the inciting incident. Obviously, I can't go into too much detail about it, not yet. I want to be able to go into as much detail as possible. I would say towards the end of the writing process. I think that's when I'm going to do that. We have our build up as well. Okay, I'm just going to have to put something head on. And then there probably is going to have to be, okay, so for this, I'm trying to reduce, this is me, I'm trying to reduce the amount of characters I introduce. Because if I keep introducing characters, there's going to have to be an explanation for those characters. And that's a lot of work. And I don't want to really do that. I don't want to make this complicated. And I feel like it's already getting to that point. I have the main character, I have the love interest, I have there's a society, the overall society that they live in. Obviously, we're going to need to introduce new characters. But my mindset is that I don't want to introduce things that is going to overcomplicate the process for me for this first draft. Because this is the first draft. I just want to be able to get everything onto paper and not really think too hard about what's going on. And then towards the second draft, if I after I write this, if I decide I want to continue, I'm gonna go over everything and probably add in details of things that I think are important to the story, things that are probably going to need to be explained further, not just simply washed over and that's it. And there's going to be a lot of washing over with this one, I know for sure. So I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible, and I'm not going to include as many new characters. That's not necessary. Gotta figure this out. This is probably a figuring out scenario because there's certain characters in my mind it would make sense for me to introduce them because they're going to have to be introduced later on. So it's whether I want to introduce them at the beginning or if I'm going to introduce them later. And beginning, like, am I introducing the first chapter? Am I introducing? So I need to make my own. I know I'm gonna need to make my own breakdown too. Because what I used to do with my breakdowns, the way I broke down my story was that I didn't really have it where I wrote down like the setup like this, where you have like the three acts. Each act had something going on for each act, and you had to like write down what's supposed to happen within each act. I never did that. What I would do is I would write down the amount of chapters I wanted in the story, and then underneath those chapters, I detailed what's supposed to happen in each chapter. So I'm probably going to do that later. I'm going to finish this because I do like this outline. It's different. This is new to me. I'm going to write this one down, and then after that, I'm going to do the breakdown that I'm used to, where I write down all the chapters that I believe I'm going to use. Let's say 12 chapters. That's pretty small. But let's say 12 chapters. And no, 12 chapters is actually pretty accurate. I'm going to do 12, let's say 12 chapters. And then under each chapter, I'm going to write down the things that are supposed to happen. And what I would do is I would do very detailed as possible, of the things I want to happen for that chapter. Maybe I'll go ahead and put down how many words I want to do for each chapter, but I feel like that might be pushing it a little. I just know that the end result needs to be 50,000 words. So yeah. I think that might be what I'm going to do. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll get back to you guys with my thoughts, and yeah.